If we cannot pull this party together, if we go to one of those extremes, we take a terrible risk of re-electing Donald Trump.
If you keep on going, we will elect Bernie. Bernie will lose to Donald Trump.
I am not looking forward to a scenario where it comes down to Donald Trump with his nostalgia for the social order of the 1950s and Bernie Sanders with the nostalgia for the revolutionary politics of the 1960s.
Well, look who's here. Amer Zahr, fresh from his appearance just a couple of days ago on this program. The first leftist that we've ever had on the program in many, many years. Welcome back, Amer Zahr, a surrogate for Bernie Sanders. Okay.
Good morning.
Oh, good morning to you. Here we go. Are you ready for this?
Of course, always, Stuart, always.
You know, nobody last night questioned your guy and how much he's going to spend to make Medicare for all. Nobody pointed out that your guy would take $100 billion out of hospitals and doctors. Your guy was never questioned on how he's going to take $180 billion out of $218 billion out of administrative costs for hospitals. Nobody mentioned that, and I think that's a blank spot in the debate. How would you answer it?
Well, Medicare for all, first of all, is a very popular policy among Americans. Second of all, the Yale study came out a couple weeks ago that said Medicare for all is going to save $468 billion a year and save 68,000 lives. Now, you tell me what that's worth. I don't think you can put a price tag on that.
Well, let me turn that around. I mean, the cost, you're going to take $100 billion out of hospitals and doctors. You start taking money off doctors, and they don't start working. They leave.
No, I think the vast majority of doctors are doing it because they want to help people. And what we've been hearing from doctors in the Bernie Sanders campaign, who all of them support Medicare for all in our campaign, is that they spend too much of their time in what they call admin time, spending a couple hours a day on the phone with insurance companies trying to get them to pay for them treating their patients, and they shouldn't be doing that. Medicare for all, single-payer system, makes it more streamlined, makes it more easy. Wiping out administrative costs is a good thing. Making sure doctors can spend more time treating their patients is a good thing. Making sure people don't die because they're poor is a good thing, and that is what we are fighting for in the Bernie Sanders campaign.
Post that debate, that Democrat Party is still totally split, right? Totally split.
Well, I mean, I thought what we saw last night in the debate was 5-on-1 against Bernie Sanders, and he survived that magnificently. So I think he's going to do just fine against Trump 1-on-1 when the time comes for that. But what we see, I think, more in a general way, is everybody is now playing this politics of fear against Bernie Sanders. And Bernie is remaining a campaign of motivation and aspiration. And that is what is really resonating with people. Trying to scare people into not voting for Bernie Sanders is not going to work, just like trying to scare people into not voting for Donald Trump didn't work. Campaigns are about messages. Campaigns are about top-line aspirations, and we have that in this movement.
Quite a few of the down-ballot candidates that we've talked to, you know, candidates for the Senate and the House, on the Democrat side, they're really worried about your guy, because they don't think that your guy will give them any kind of boost. In fact, they think that your guy will kill them.
Well, actually, there was a report out of the Senate Democratic caucus the other day that said they're just comfortable with Bernie. But as far as this argument, which, yes, I've heard.
Seven. That's it. Seven senators.
This argument that you've made, which, yes, I've heard, I will combat that with this. Bernie has shown that he puts together this multi-generational, multi-racial coalition that comes out to vote. People who haven't been involved in the political process before. And so when they come out to vote and the turnout is higher, as we saw in Nevada and New Hampshire and Iowa among young people, that's going to help Democratic candidates down the ballot, because most Democratic voters are going to vote D no matter what. And then you're going to have a lot of other people coming into the process to support Bernie and supporting the D down the ballot also. So, I mean, I don't buy that argument for a second. Everyone is fixated on this, like, sort of magical middle voter who, you know, is going to maybe go to Bernie or Trump or whatever. No, I'm more fixated on the turnout and getting people who haven't voted before and haven't been involved in this process, like people of color, immigrants, disenfranchised communities, which Bernie and our movement are bringing in. That is what I'm interested in, and that sort of turnout is going to be what wins this election, not just for Bernie, but for Democrats across the board.
What I'm about to say may really upset the stock market, which I'm loath to do, but I know you're going to agree with me here.
Okay.
You don't care about the stock market. I know you. I mean, why should a communist or a socialist care about the stock market? But that's not the story.
I am neither of those things.
Yes, you are. No, look.
No.
Come on, of course you are. Don't get at it. Go on, come on.
No,
But,
I'm definitely not a communist or a socialist.
I think that Bernie is on track to get the most delegates and to get the most votes. And I think he's very much on track to take the nomination, and that will scare the bejesus out of the stock market. And you know it's true.
Well, I think what we know, so Robert Reich, which I know maybe you're not crazy about as an economist, but yesterday talked about how everyone is talking about how much Bernie's policies would cost, when really we should talk about how much Bernie's policies will save. That's what he believes as an award-winning economist. So I think the stock market is not going to react. We'll see one day, but I think what we do know is that you're right. I agree with you. Bernie's going to win. He's going to get more delegates than anybody else. He's the only person in the history of this process who has won the popular vote in the first 3 contests. That's never happened before. And what if he wins South Carolina, Stuart? It's over, right? If he wins South Carolina, it is over. And he's definitely going to finish second. He's going to win California and Texas. But we don't take any votes for granted. We're going to be working till the very end, because this movement is something unique in American history, and we're going to defeat Donald Trump in November and bring motivation and aspiration and big ideas. We're fighting for the working class, and we're not going to stop.
The working class. Man, you take me back to socialist England, 1952. You really do. But you are the only leftist that I don't lose my temper with. And I don't know why that is, but I don't. You smile,
is it my
I
looks?
smile. If you look, that's what it is.
My haircut? Is it my haircut? I don't know.
I got more hair than you do. That makes me smile.
Well, it depends. From the neck up, sure, but I'm an Arab. From the chest down, I think I might beat you.
15 love. Amer, that was pretty good.
Thanks.
You come back soon, okay, man? Good to see you.
Thanks, Stuart.